Look, let's be honest with ourselves for a second. You're not actually treating yourself. You're paying a stress tax to corporations that are getting filthy rich while your bank account stays on literal life support. I mean, let's be real. That $7 latte and the 2 a.m. Sephora haul, those aren't self-care, right? They're a desperate, expensive bribe you pay to your own brain just because your job is draining you. I see it every single day. Brilliant women working 50-hour weeks just to stay broke because they've been brainwashed into believing that spending is the only cure for exhaustion. This I deserve this complex, it's the ultimate scam, and it's designed to keep you on that corporate hamster wheel forever. I know the feeling. Trust me, I do. You've had a brutal Monday, your boss is a total nightmare, and that $120 wellness candle or the overpriced avocado toast feels like the only thing keeping you from a total breakdown. But I want you to look at the math for a moment, because frankly, the math doesn't care about your feelings. If you're dropping $150 a week on these micro treats just to survive your commute, you're literally hemorrhaging $7,800 a year. Just think about that. Over a decade, if you actually invested that in a basic index fund with a 7% return, you'd have over $110,000. But instead, well, you have a pile of empty skincare bottles and a caffeine addiction. You aren't rewarding yourself for hard work. You are literally subsidizing your own misery. Corporations love your burnout because, let's face it, exhausted people are impulsive consumers. They've rebranded numbing the pain as treating yourself, and you're falling for it every single pay cycle. You're trading your future financial freedom for a 20-minute hit of dopamine, and quite frankly, you're worth way more than a seasonal latte. It's time to stop being a victim of your own reward system before you find yourself at 65 with nothing to show for your career but a collection of designer handbags and a massive sense of regret. Look, we really need to address the delusional wealth gap between your ego and your actual assets. Every time you drop $100 on a little treat just to numb the pain of a bad Monday, you aren't just losing $100. You're actually committing financial arson. At a 10% average market return, that $100 is actually $760 of missed gains over 20 years. I mean, think about that. You are literally lighting $700 on fire for a 3-minute dopamine hit that wears off before you even finish the drive home. Right? If you do this once a week, and I know you do because you convince yourself that you deserve it after a long meeting, you're handing over nearly $40,000 of your future freedom to companies that couldn't care less about your well-being. They're getting rich off your burnout while you're stuck on the hamster wheel. Wealth isn't the car you drive to a job you hate just to impress people you don't even like. Wealth is the index funds that give you the power to walk away from that job. Forever. You're trading your entire life for temporary comfort. And trust me, the math is screaming at you to stop. But here's the thing. The companies taking your money, they aren't just lucky. They've actually spent billions of dollars studying your biology to make sure you never stop paying the stress tax. And the way they've targeted your specific insecurities is much more sinister than you think. Look, I get it. You're exhausted. Your boss is a total nightmare. And let's be real, that add to cart button feels like the only thing giving you a hit of dopamine in a soul-crushing 40-hour work week, right? But the freedom method isn't some manifestation yoga retreat. It's a cold-blooded audit of your own weaknesses. I want you to open your banking app right now. Yes, the one you've been avoiding. And flag every single stress spend. Be honest with yourself. I mean, did you actually need those $90 leggings? Or was your manager just being a passive-aggressive jerk that afternoon? You're paying a misery tax to corporations that literally profit off your burnout. They want you tired and they want you impulsive. Because a tired woman is a woman who spends just to feel human again. Once you've realized how much your bad days are actually costing you, we're implementing the 48-hour cooling rule.
It's simple, really. If it's not a basic necessity, it sits in the cart for 2 full sleeps. Marketing psychology is designed to spike your cortisol and then offer a buy now button as the fake cure. By waiting 48 hours, you let those hormones drop back to a human baseline. Most of the time, that burning need for a new espresso machine or another neutral toned blazer, it evaporates the second you're actually well rested. You didn't want the item, you just wanted the temporary escape of the transaction. But the real shift happens when you stop letting yourself be the last person on your own payroll. Before you can deserve your paycheck away on things that end up in a landfill, 15% of your income needs to go straight into a brokerage account. Automated. Look, if the money never hits your checking account, you can't spend it on a whim, right? We need to redefine what self-care actually looks like. Real self-care isn't a $40 scented candle that smells like regret. It's a high-yield savings account that screams, I don't have to put up with this toxic environment anymore. Wealth is the ultimate skincare routine because nothing clears up your complexion like the peace of mind that comes from being financially bulletproof. But here's the kicker. Even if you master your impulses and start saving, there's a much more dangerous trap waiting for you the moment you start seeing your balance grow. It's a psychological phenomenon that keeps even high-earning professionals broke. And if you don't recognize the signs, you'll be trapped in the gold-plated hamster wheel for the next 30 years without even realizing it. Let's actually run the numbers on 2 versions of you, because honestly, I think you're lying to yourself about what a treat actually is, right? Scenario A is the one you're currently living. You keep paying what I call the stress tax, to the tune of $500 a month. That's the money you spend on lifestyle creep because your boss is a total nightmare, and you think a new designer bag or a third dinner out this week is somehow going to fix your burnout. Fast forward 10 years, what do you actually have? You have a closet full of outdated clothes that have lost 90% of their value and exactly $0 in compounding growth. I mean, you spent $60,000 over a decade just to buy temporary distractions from a life you're trying to escape. Now, look at scenario B. You redirect that same $500, the money you were going to set on fire anyway, into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Even if you start with absolutely nothing in your account today, in 10 years, you're looking at over $100,000. I want you to stop thinking of that as just a 6-figure number. For most of you, that is 2 full years of your take-home salary. That is the literal price of your freedom. That is the power to walk away from a toxic job, a bad relationship, or a city you hate without asking for anyone's permission. That's not just a bank balance. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card for your adult life. So, let's be real for a second. Which one actually sounds like treating yourself? The $150 skincare routine that's gone in 2 months? Or the ability to never have to tolerate a disrespectful manager again? One is a fleeting hit of dopamine. The other is a permanent shift in your power dynamics. But here's the most insulting part of this entire simulation. Most of you will look at these numbers and still choose scenario A. Not because you're bad at math, but because your brain has been hijacked by a psychological trick that makes you crave the illusion of wealth more than actual wealth itself. And if you don't learn how to spot this specific mental trap, you'll stay broke no matter how much your salary increases. In fact, there's one specific purchase that most successful professionals make that is the ultimate kiss of death for your net worth. And honestly, it's probably sitting in your driveway right now. Look, the reality is that these corporations aren't just selling you products, right? I mean, let's be real. They're selling you a temporary escape from the very burnout they helped create in the first place. They want you stressed. They want you scrolling. And they definitely want you spending every single cent of your paycheck just to feel like yourself again. But
I want something actually different for you. I want you calm, collected, and compounding. You see, every time you fall for that "I deserve this" trap after a brutal day at the office, you're just paying a stress tax, simply to stay stuck in a cubicle you absolutely hate. It's time to stop investing in your temporary dopamine hits and start investing in your literal autonomy. Let's be honest, your future self doesn't need another aesthetic water bottle or another $120 skincare haul just to feel valid, right? She needs a portfolio, one that generates enough cash flow to pay for her entire life. If you're done being a retail therapy victim and you're actually ready to own your time, I want you to comment "freedom" below right now. Then, I want you to take that forced $50 you were going to blow on something cute this week and move it into your brokerage or investment account instead. Don't just work for your money, make your money work so hard for you that one day soon you can finally just stop. If you're ready to build a life you don't need to buy an escape from, subscribe for more wealth strategies. I'll see you in the next one.